Hi everybody, Kenny B here with another edition of How to Survive the Upcoming Zombie Apocalypse. This is a special edition. As you heard the news in Miami, there was a zombie attack. When I heard about this, I was over at the game store using my awesome Space Marines to kick the crap out of a bunch of pansy Eldar. My Space Marines totally fucking own. But we were sitting there, and all of a sudden on the news came this whole big thing about a zombie attack. Well, they didn't say zombie. They said man eats the face off a homeless person. But immediately jumped on the computer, started doing my research. Turns out, after doing looking over some web pages, it was actually a zombie attack, not a cannibal. That's right. It was a zombie. And in this episode, I'm going to lay out the truth about what really happened. First, I'm going to show you the website I pulled up when I first heard this happen. So here it goes. As you can see, they say a naked man was eating the face off of a homeless person under an underpass. This was a zombie attack. Let me break down why. First off, when the cops showed up, they're yelling at him, get away from the guy, get away from the guy. This suspect turned and snarled like an animal. Now, freshly made zombies do this. As zombies get a little more aged, they lose the ability to vocalize and do any kind of sounds. But the fact that the zombie ignored the cop, despite the cop having a weapon drawn on him, shows how mindless the creature was. The only reason why I was still eating the face off the homeless guy was because the homeless guy was still moving and thrashing around. Zombies attack their prey until the prey dies. Then they move to the next target. So, when the cop shot him 4 to 5 times, and the final shot being a headshot, but they didn't want to mention that because they didn't want to get the police officer in trouble. When he shot, he didn't react. He kept eating the body. Once again, that's what zombies do. But, that's because the police officer used poor shot placement initially, until he realized what was going on, and then he did the headshot. So now, we have a misinformation campaign going on. Now I'm going to post 2 website shots that'll prove to you the misinformation campaign that's being spun about this. Excuse me. Their idea is to keep you sleeping before the Romney camp springs into action. So, here are those 2 websites. As you can see from the first website, they're blaming it on a drug called bath salts. Let me explain something about what bath salts really are. Evidently, the ZombieMasters, tied in with Mitt Romney's camp, accidentally mishandled some of their zombie making agent. If you ever read H.P. Lovecraft, The Case of Charles Dexter Ward, you learned that necromancers use something called essential salts. These essential salts are what they use to bring back a corpse to life. Now, depending on how you use them, you can either make a zombie, or you bring back a person completely from the dead. In this case, it's a zombie-making agent. Unfortunately, it did get loose, and there's actually been other attacks, but they haven't admitted to these being linked to the essential salts. Just this week alone, there's been 5 cases of flesh-eating attacks. Homeless person attacking a small child, a guy eating a heart out of another man, and some other attacks. So they lost a good quantity of these essential salts. So now they're all over the place, and now you, the public, need to be aware of what's going on. Now, once again, like I said, the Romney camp is using misinformation to keep you asleep so you don't know what's coming down the pipe. Well, I'm going to get to what you can do to defend yourself in a minute or two. Now, in the other webpage I showed you, it mentions voodoo. Well, that's completely utter bullshit. Once again, another spin by the Romney camp. Voodoo zombies are not cannibalistic. They don't attack people in that manner. What a voodoo zombie might do is bring you with an axe. Might stab you. But for the most part, voodoo masters tend to use their zombies differently. They tend to use them for manual labor and stuff like that. So you don't have to really worry about a voodoo zombie. However, the zombies in these recent attacks, you do have to worry about. And, once again, I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do to defend yourself. Okay. I'm going to give you some tips now on how to defend yourself if and when these flesh-eating necro-reanimates come after you. I'm going to show you how to defend yourself with some simple household items. Starting with America's pastime, the baseball bat. Baseball bat's very versatile. You can swing it almost sword-like, or you can bash like that. The important part of this is where you target on your target. When you come in, you want to try to get into that base of the skull. You want to break the neck of the zombie before it gets a chance to bite you. As I said, baseball bat's versatile. You can use it one-handed or two. With two, you get far more strength. And as I said, you also use it to push a zombie back. Push it back, crack it. Push, crack. Very simple, very common, easy to wield. Now this one, a little different. This I use for training the recruits over at the Mall Ninja Dojo. Fire axe. Now like I said, this is a training one because these are dangerous. Once again, with a fire axe, just as versatile as your baseball bat, but a little bit more lethal because you have the spike. Now with the spike, you're going to come in, once again, you're going to try and hit right about there. What that'll do, penetrate the lizard brain, kill your zombie. You can also, obviously, decapitate a zombie, but if you decapitate the zombie, you still want to put a spike in it because there's still a chance that it might attack you as you walk by. A lot of people I've known have nearly been bitten because they took the zombie's head off, weren't paying attention, moved their hand, and the snapping jaws of death were waiting for them. As I said, I like the axe because you got range. You actually get a little bit more range than a baseball bat. And it's a little bit easier to take out a Zed with it. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you gotta get a little close. That's what a crowbar does. Crowbar, you can use it blunt, or you can use it as a hook. Smack it down on the zombie. Or my favorite, right into the eye socket. Once you get in the eye socket, give it a little twist. Zombie brain soup. Also, if you wrap this in blue phone cord, you can get some devastating effects. You can explode a zombie's skull if you're good. Now, another weapon you might be camping, you might have one of these. Little hatchet. Despite what you see on TV, you don't want to throw it, because if you throw it, now you have nothing. You got your hands. What you do with the hatchet, you aim for the arms. If you start taking out the arms, breaking them, you can either chop or reverse it and break. Once again, after you do that, you can come along, right in the base of the skull, dead Zed. Like I said, this is more of a extreme close quarters weapon. And while I'm showing you common stuff, that's why I'm not showing you the katana, because a lot of you folks don't have katanas, nor are you actually trained in how to use them. Leave that to professionals, folks. Another weapon, little flip knife. Problem is with a flip knife, you got to get really close. So what you do is you put your forearm into the zombie's neck, hold it down. Won't kill the zombie unless you really dig it in there and start. Like I said, you got to spin it around. But you can at least, there's a chance you can slow it down and kill it. I don't advise this, but like I said, if this is all you have, that's the only way you can probably do it. Unless you go into the base of the skull like that. You can try that approach, but once again, you gotta have some kind of body armor to keep that neck around it from biting you. Unless you do this. Jam your forearm into the neck, under the jaw. Because when you do this, it can't get you. Now there's one exotic weapon I like. That's the kukri. As you saw in my first episode I ever posted, this has a lot of chopping power. The weight is right there in the blade. Perfect for swinging into the zombie's neck, getting into that lizard brain, taking a zombie's head off. Don't go to the top, because if you try to go through the top of the skull, it'll end up being embedded, and then you'll be screwed, because now you got a zombie here, and unfortunately you're going to have to wedge that blade back out. That's why you always want to try to go around the sides, because they're just coming at you straight. They really don't pay attention to their peripheral vision, so it's just wham! Take it out that way. The last weapon I'm going to show you is the simple ballpoint pen. Now, once again, this is last resort. You have nothing else around you. You take this pen, like I said, with your forearm, you push that forearm into the zombie's neck, and then you stab it in the eye. Once you got it in the eye, you punch down on it again. Should hopefully send it into the brainstem. That's what powers these creatures. Pop it in the brainstem, disrupt the brainstem, boom, zombie flatline. Now, before you go off worrying about zombies, I have to tell you some identifying characteristics of the enemy. First off, zombies don't come at you like this. They will reach for you. And once again, you're going to want to keep your distance from them. But bear in mind, there's, like I said, telltale signs of a zombie. Excessive bodily damage, bleeding, missing flesh. You see somebody coming up towards you, it looks like he's been in a car wreck and he's still moving towards you. Chances are it could be a zombie. Someone staring up towards you like this and groaning, where his eye is kind of like groaning and not really looking too coordinated. That could be just your drunken friend who's had a few too many drinks. A zombie's actually going to come at you with a purpose. They're going to look at you like you're prey. You're going to get that sense. They'll be a little uncoordinated, but like I said, you'll easily be able to tell between the drunken stagger and of an actual zombie coming to bite your tasty flesh. As I said before, depending on the age of the zombie, how long it's been reanimated, depends on if it'll groan or snarl. Now, if somebody's coming at you staggering, looking straight at you, not making any noise, probably a zombie. Probably coming to get your tasty flesh. But, like I said, trying to give you the best information I can give you so you can be ready in case one of these flesh-eating necro-reanimates comes to eat you. Okay, in closing, as I said, try to give you some helpful tips on how to survive this upcoming zombie apocalypse. Try to make you informed on what's going to happen. Ultimately, it's up to you to vote for me, Kenny B, and the Mole Ninja Party in 2012, because we're going to do our best to protect you. So, till next time, this is Kenny B signing off. Take care. Keep your weapons handy, and remember, the zombies are coming.